Here's a highlight from a recent episode of Booked on Rock. Our guest is Mike Allen, author of Living and Touring with Alice Cooper and Other Stories. There was an accident, car accident, catastrophic, that could have ended the band in 1968. So let's get to that. And by the way, we're going to get to the Frank Zappa part of the story. That's coming up too. So we'll get to that. But yeah, what happened with this accident in 1968?
Well, like I say, it was in April 6th, we went back to attend the opening of Alice Cooper, the club, which only lasted 3 months. But they stuck around, recorded, got Neil up to speed on the music. And we were supposed to return on the 11th. But by the time everybody got together, it was after midnight on the 12th. Excuse me, I was driving the van, and everybody and all the equipment poured in, and off we went, and leaving at after midnight on the 12th. And we got to the San Bernardino freeway, and rush hour traffic wasn't as busy as it is now, but it was still getting to be rush hour at 6:30, whenever the time was. And I was driving along, and suddenly there was the freeway opened up all the way for, it looked like miles, and there was nobody behind me. I was just in my lane doing absolutely nothing, going, man, this is great. I can take this all the way to Topanga and, no stress. And Dennis was just about ready to walk up and ask me if I needed a break. Which I would have said no, we're only 30 minutes away from where we were. Then alongside, and I don't know how or why this happened, a Ford beige or yellow station wagon with fake wood trim pulled up alongside of me, about the middle of their car with the front of my car, and came right over into my lane, causing me to jerked the wheel hard to the left or the right, I can't remember, the left. And all the equipment and all the people in there and the van started rotating. And then I tried to straighten it up, and I hit an embankment, and it just went stop and just went rolling down the freeway. And the number of rolls, I don't know, I've heard 3 to 5 by the band members. But I went out through the front windshield, and I was still strapped to my seat.
Oh, wow.
Because thankfully, my parents, before we went over there, gave me a set of seat belts to install in that van. I did a crummy job installing them. I installed them to the seat, but it saved my life.
Right.
Because when the seat went out, the seat belts went with me and held me on the seat when I went out through the windshield. And when the police found me, I was, well, I don't know, 20 feet down the road, unconscious, but I didn't have a mark on me, and I was still strapped to the seat. And
wow.
everybody else was, got hit by amplifiers and drums, and Dick Christian took a cymbal to the back of the head, which caused a big gash in his head and needed stitches. Neil told me the last time we had dinner that he was forced onto the ground with his head turned to the road, because they were literally, the roof was on top of the road, and it was screeching down the highway. And he said he was deaf in 1 year because of that noise just penetrated his head, and he couldn't get out from under the equipment or the bodies on top of him.
Wow. I mean, lucky to be alive.
Absolutely. I mean, Alice to this day says it's a miracle, and I've got no proof otherwise. And the other thing is, my mom, before we took off, gave me a St. Christopher's medal, and I put it in the visor. Unfortunately, the visor broke off during the fall, and never could find the medal again. But yeah, it was. If you've seen the pictures from the book, Tootie came over and took those pictures for the insurance company. It was some of those pictures look like there was a nightmare in there that went
Right.
terribly wrong.
So you shot through the windshield?
Yep. Well, luckily I'm assuming I don't know when it happened, but the windshield blew out
Okay.
and I went out.
Thankfully, because otherwise your head would have gone through the glass.
Right. The
Okay.
windshield blew out. It took half the rear view mirror with it, so that may have helped me too. And I just did a flip. I guess I just did a flip and landed on the back of the seat and just scooted along. It was amazing because they unbuckled me and told me to go stand over there, and the police did. And so I went and stood. I was completely out of it. I didn't know what was going on because I'd just been in a car accident.
No broken bones?
No, no, nothing. I didn't. I was stiff and sore and achy for weeks, but I don't think I had a cut on me because I was wearing a sweater and Levi's and shoes.
Yeah.
So
None of the guys had broken bones? No.
no, just bruises and contusions.